Attention citizens, hold on to your hats because
It's the Grave Girls Showtime Experience. Okay, so that whoa. Hi, it's Grave Girls.
Hi,
I'm Danielle,
I'm Charlie.
and we're doing a show. So let's go.
Let's do it.
Um, I think so. We talked about how we were going to talk about. We talked about talking about
Talking?
performance.
Oh,
And just sort of like performing as what in your nature like brings you to, feel like you wanted to perform or you felt like you should pursue, artistic stuff.
so I guess probably the first thing that really stood out to me when I was a kid, I would draw during class because,
Mm-hmm.
it was boring and I had untreated ADHD so bad. And I was, gosh, that was the wind. Wow.
Yeah, it's supposed to get windy. It's been flooding, and then it's gonna get windy and freeze.
Good times. But okay, so yeah, no, I was in school and I would draw during class while I was listening because you've seen me. I'll be watching TV, have something going on my phone, practicing violin, and like trying to talk to you at the same time. I don't know. I'm weird. Uh, but so I would be drawing while I'm listening. It would help me focus on what I was listening to, and the teacher would come by and wad up my drawing and throw it away. But eventually, I just, I don't know, been working at getting better at more accurate representations of what I was trying to draw. And the teacher came by and ripped it away and stopped and handed it back to me and said, "Finish that after class." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And no, I don't know. After that, I started being more regarded, I guess, by my peers as an artist, and it just kind of stuck with me. It was,
And
better than the
then
other things,
and then
honestly.
as a young child, you were like, someday I'm gonna form a band called Grave Girls.
That's incredibly accurate. Yes, it was all part of the agenda.
The
The
agenda.
agenda, indeed. This has all been planned for generations, actually.
So that kind of brings up to me like the idea of like being criticized or praised for our artistic abilities, like from an early age, can really
Hmm.
make or break whether or not someone decides to pursue it at all. I think a lot of art is like being dissuaded and then knowing you're right anyway, kind of. You know what I'm talking about?
Being too stubborn,
Yeah, being stubborn
having
about your craft and, knowing that the time you spent on it is worth it. But it's like
well,
over and over, you'll have people look at your art and they just don't understand it. They don't understand it. They don't understand it. And then suddenly they're like, "Oh, I get that. That's relevant to me. That's okay to exist and should not be thrown in the trash."
basically, yeah.
But at the same time, that's a lot of that is like a non-artist perspective. Like for example, I've had people who are not art like musical artists be like, "Oh, well, you record music, so you probably only listen to like the best stuff. Like you probably only listen to like really good recordings, so you wouldn't like this." And I'm like, it actually becomes the opposite in a way because you hear so much of everything. You hear the worst of what could be performed, you hear the best of what could be performed in the studio. And that's really one thing is working in the studio taught me a lot about music and my own expression.
Oh, for sure. Well, back like with visual stuff, non-artists like to emphasize the importance of photorealism in art. That photorealism is a thing that non-artists think is very important.
It looks just like a picture.
Except that, like, none of your favorite art is photorealistic. Um,
Oh, look at this picture. It looks just like a painting.
yeah, but like, you know, photographs are photographs, and they're fine, and you can have some really amazing artistic photographs. But like, none of the good paintings that exist are photorealistic. That's just not a real thing. You can spend a whole lot of extra time to render it to be photorealistic, but nobody really cares. There are so many artists out there who can, like, I can sit down and I can draw a picture, and it can, like, I'll draw in every little shade of the pores if I want to. It's just going to take me a few extra weeks, and at the end of the day, nobody cares about it.
Yeah, but if
Um,
people have nothing to hold on to as far as like an artistic reference point for you, they're just gonna think everything is bad.
yeah.
It doesn't matter how good it is. Like Van Gogh, a lot of people hated his art, as or so it said, you know, and a lot of people like didn't like his art or criticized him, and it's because they had no reference point of connecting to that type of thing directly. And so a lot of art ends up becoming the narrative behind it.
Yeah.
Um, but also there's the power of, for me, like in performance and in my art, um, a lot of it is comes from a place of visualizing. You know, from visual art, you probably understand visualizing.
Yeah.
You're a visualizer. But basically, visualizing is kind of like manifesting, but it's better. You know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, well, I could make that if I had the time or something." I'm like, "But did you though?" You know?
Well, as far as photorealistic drawings, I definitely have. I just,
No, I'm not saying you.
I know.
I'm saying, of course, you are well recognized for the amazing stuff you do.
Oh, you are too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so when it comes to visualizing art, visualizing is just knowing things could be in a better place than they are in a way.
I can see that.
And having a critical eye is one reason so many artists get really sad because we're critical,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So that's part of it too.
I was going to say something about that painting behind you.
Yes.
I forgot what though. As far as back to like the photorealism and people.
Oh, the painting behind me. You mean what's it called?
Um. Oh goodness, you put me on the spot. It is called the. Oh goodness.
What's the building?
I'm trying to think of that.
Basilica.
The Basilica de Familia, as seen from the McDonald's across the road.
That's the name of the painting.
It's the name of the painting because it's literally the Basilica. The Spanish thing I just said. It's a build. It's that really famous basilica in Barcelona by the incredibly interesting and impressive architect
So
Tony Gaudi.
so you visualized it.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was standing there and I took a picture, and then like some years later, it's like, huh, I got an idea. And the things that need to be accurate are very accurate. The outlines of the buildings, like I painstakingly made those silhouettes like as accurate as I could. And it's the only thing that everything else is just kind of blah color madness and
It looks
contrast.
It's my favorite painting of yours.
Oh, it's a
That's
pretty
why
good
it's in
one.
the living room.
Yeah. There's another painting in mine that you've not seen. I've been trying to get some pictures of it. I don't. It doesn't live with me anymore. But it's a picture of like It was done right around the same time frame as that one, in the same style, but it's two men kissing.
Okay.
One of them is blue and one of them is orange. It's a really cool, kind of a contrasting situation. It's nice. You'll like it.
Men kissing.
Men kissing.
So can we pull that up, please?
No.
Okay. Well then.
No, I've literally just said I've been trying to get a copy of it to show it to you, and I've not been able to do that yet.
Okay. Well, that's our show.
That's our show.
That is the show where we can't show you what we talk about.
But maybe in a future episode, I will have like a good photograph of it. I don't know. I will see if I could find it. If there's a picture of it here, I found it, and if there's not, I didn't find it. We'll see what happens.
All right. Goodbye. It's
See you
Grave
tomorrow.
Girls.